Hey guys, Outdoor Prepper, welcome back to the channel. I want to talk a little bit today about fuel storage for your emergency generator and how you could safely store fuel ahead of an emergency and what you can do to kind of plan ahead and have capacity in case you know that a storm is coming or you predict some emergency might be about to happen. So let's just dive right into it here. On the table, I've got a couple of different things. I've got a propane tank, I've got a fuel can, another fuel can. This is a liquid transfer pump. I've got some fuel stabilizer, and I've got something called True Fuel. Now, in an emergency, fuel might be very difficult to obtain. So ahead of the emergency, you want to have some extra capacity, you want to have some fuel stored, and you want to have the ability to go out and get some more. So I have propane here and gasoline because I'm planning to use a dual fuel generator that runs on either propane or gasoline, and I really recommend that because it really increases your fuel supply if you can run on either or. But let's just say for the moment that you can only run on gasoline, and we'll talk about propane in just a moment. If you can only run on gasoline, you should have 5 to 10 gallons of fuel stored at all times, because you might just be going out about your business, a tree falls down, there's a motor vehicle accident, and you've lost power. You want to have some fuel on hand. And to store 5 or 10 gallons, what you can do is you can get these plastic cans. This can is actually one of my favorite ones. This is made by No Spill. This is a 2.5 gallon can. I'm sorry, this is a 1.25 gallon can. They make these in 2.5 gallons and they make these in 5 gallons. I am a huge fan of the No Spill tanks, and I'll do a whole review on those. But basically, to use the No Spill can, once you fill it up, you just depress this green button. The fuel starts to flow. As soon as you let go of the green button, it stops. It flows really well. You don't have any of those venting problems. On the back of the can, it's got a nice clear plastic so you can actually see the amount of fuel that you have. So I recommend that you get some No Spill cans, and the reason I'm going to recommend this in addition to the larger ones is if you're filling a generator, it's a little unwieldy sometimes to pick up a large jerry can. This can weighs about 10 pounds empty. This can is made by Wavian. Valpro also makes them. This is a really high quality can. Probably one of the best fuel cans you can buy. This is about $60 to $80 depending on where you buy it and what you purchase with it. Whereas this No Spill can, you're talking sub $20. This might be $15. I'll post links for all of this on the description. So to just back up for a minute, I think it's really important that you have capacity to store more fuel. So I have this jerry can, and this one happens to be empty, but I have 2 of these that are full, and I keep 2 full jerry cans as my everyday fuel storage. That's 10 gallons. What I plan to do in an emergency is, maybe I don't want to lift this up and pour this unwieldy can into the generator, so I would use my fluid transfer pump that I bought at Harbor Freight. This was really inexpensive. I think it was $6, and I could put the fluid transfer pump into the jerry can, and then what I can do is I can just pump from the jerry can into a smaller container that I could more easily and more safely carry over to the generator to fill it, to fuel it. So I always keep one of these full, either a 1.25 gallon or a 2.5 gallon, and I always keep 2 jerry cans full. In addition to keeping the 2 jerry cans full, I actually have spare capacity of several more jerry cans that are empty. I just keep them, in the garage in case of an emergency. And you might say, well, what emergency are you planning for that you keep empty jerry cans? Well, maybe I hear on the news that a storm is coming to my area. Maybe it's going to be an ice storm, maybe it's going to be a hurricane, maybe it's a tornado. But if I know that a storm is coming in the next few days, the stores are going to be sold out. You're not going to be able to place an order for this jerry can and get this in 2 days. This can took about a week and a half to get to me. So I want the cans ahead of time. And also, if you go to Home Depot the day before an emergency or 2 days before, they're going to be sold out. So buy a couple of these, keep them in the garage, keep them empty, and just know that they're there. And in your head, know that you have the capacity for maybe up to 40 gallons or 50 gallons or whatever it is that you're planning on needing to run your generator. So I keep a couple of these empty. I keep 2 of them full. I keep, like I said, 1 of these full and or maybe the 2.5 full. And then if I need more, I'll go to the gas station. I've got the cans. I fill them up ahead of time. That way I'm prepared. Now, I want to point this out. This can is made by Wavian, and I really recommend you buy a Wavian can. They are literally top of the line NATO cans. The welded seam is recessed, so it doesn't put any pressure on it when you put the can down. And you can buy different spouts. They come with a spout that is kind of like the no spill type spout, and it works fine, but I prefer this more traditional spout, and it's very easy to use. You just kind of open the can, take the spout, clip it on, and just push down, and that's it. It is good to go. You're good to use this. There are no difficulties at all using this spout, and it actually pours very quickly. You can empty this whole 5-gallon can into a fuel tank very easily with no difficulties. So I do recommend you buy the spout that comes with it, or that is for sale with it, and I will post in the description the exact spout that I'm talking about. Additionally, I really recommend you get some Pri-G, which is a fuel stabilizer, and the Pri-G will preserve the gasoline, so instead of going stale in a month or a little over 30 days, you might be able to get 6 months to a year with the Pri-G being poured into the jerry can. When you use Pri-G or any fuel stabilizer, pour it into an empty can first and then fill the can with fuel, because it mixes it around into the gasoline and it makes it last a lot longer. Moving on, the other fuel that I really recommend you store for an emergency or especially generator usage is propane. Gasoline goes bad. This goes bad in 30 days, maybe 60 days. If you extend it with stabilizer, you might get 6 months. A year is pushing it, but you can maybe push it to a year before you need to take this, dump it in your car, refill it, you just constantly replenish it. This tank of propane that's full, I could put this in the outdoor shed and I could leave it there for the next 5 years, 10 years. Oop, there goes the fluid transfer pump. And it's still gonna work. And that to me is a huge benefit. I wanna know that I can take this tank, I can fill it, I can put it in the shed, and when I need it, it's gonna be ready. I don't even have to think about it. And then I could also use this for the barbecue. So what I like to do is I like to keep about 2 of these tanks on hand, full, in addition to the one with the barbecue. So between my propane and my gasoline and my reserve capacity with the gasoline that I could fill up, at the gas station if I know the storm is coming, I think I'm in pretty good shape. The other thing that I want to point out here on the table is True Fuel. Now where I live, I can't get ethanol-free gasoline. Every gasoline blend that is in the area that I live has like 10% ethanol, which is not good because again, it gums up carburetors, it causes problem. But True Fuel actually lasts a lot longer because it is ethanol free. It's kind of a manufactured fuel. So when I do a test on a generator, if it's dual fuel, I always use the propane. But if it is only gasoline, then I use the True Fuel because this has no ethanol, it's got a fuel stabilizer in it, and it makes it last a little bit longer without gumming up. So I would recommend buying a can of True Fuel, if for no other reason than to just do your monthly test on the generator if it's not dual fuel. Guys, I hope this has helped you. I really want to stress that the time to think about fuel storage, for an emergency is now, when there is not an emergency. If you went to Home Depot after Hurricane Sandy or any of the major hurricanes, they're going to be completely sold out of fuel cans, of True Fuel, of propane tanks, of everything. So you need to buy this stuff now before there's a problem, and then when there is a problem, you'll be fine because you'll have your fuel storage, you'll have your capacity, you'll have the extra jerry cans, and everything you need, you will have on hand. So I hope this is helpful. If you could do me a favor, if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and most importantly, leave a comment. I really do read every single comment, and I reply to every single comment. Hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.